My name is MuftiMenk, and I welcome you to this peaceful sanctuary, a place of wisdom, reflection, and reminders that bring the heart closer to Allah. Here, we uncover the beauty of trusting Allah's timing, the serenity of gratitude in every season, the light of surrounding ourselves with the Qur'an daily, the strength that blossoms through patience, the mercy of Allah that heals our wounds, and the power of sincere dua that transforms our lives. Each message is designed to inspire, uplift, and connect you with your true purpose. If you seek peace, clarity, and hope in your journey, you are in the right place. Join me by subscribing, liking, and sharing these reminders, so together we can spread guidance and comfort to hearts in need. When the morning light first breaks through the silence of the night, when the world is still calm and your soul is fresh from rest, that is the moment your heart is most ready to be shaped. Begin that moment not with the rush of dunya, not with the endless list of tasks waiting for you, not with your phone or messages or worries. Begin it with the remembrance of Allah. For the one who remembers Allah at the start of his day, Allah remembers him throughout the day. And when Allah's remembrance surrounds you, no storm of dunya can truly drown you. The Prophet taught us that the tongue moistened with dhikr is beloved to Allah. Imagine starting your day with Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illa Allah. Imagine the weight of those words rising from your lips, not just as sounds, but as anchors holding your heart steady against the waves of dunya. A heart that begins with Allah becomes a heart that carries Allah's peace through every hour that follows. The Qur'an reminds us, verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Rest is not found in wealth, not in status, not in the fleeting pleasures of this world. Rest is found in the quiet whisper of dhikr that aligns your soul with its creator. When you rise from your bed and utter his name, you declare that this day belongs not to the dunya, but to Allah. You remind yourself that you are a servant before you are anything else, before you are a worker, a parent, a student, or a friend. The servant who begins with Allah is guarded by Allah, and the servant who neglects Allah at the start of the day may spend the rest of the day chasing shadows that never bring peace. Dhikr in the morning is not just a habit, it is a shield. Life is filled with noise, the demands of work, the distractions of people, the endless chase for dunya. But when the heart beats with remembrance, the noise of dunya becomes background, never center stage. A person who starts with Allah walks through dunya as though walking through a storm under the protection of a strong roof. The winds may howl, the rain may pour, but inside the shelter of Allah's remembrance, peace remains untouched. Consider the one who begins his morning without dhikr. He is like a traveler who sets out on a long journey without food or water. The dunya will exhaust him. The people he meets will test him. His own desires will weigh him down. But the one who carries dhikr from the morning carries sustenance that nourishes the soul, strength that cannot be stolen, light that cannot be extinguished. The Prophet would make dua at the start of his day. O Allah, whatever blessing comes to me this day or to any one of your creation, it is from you alone without partner. So for you is all praise and to you is all thanks. Begin your day like this, acknowledging that every breath, every opportunity, every moment of life is a gift from Allah. Gratitude in the morning plants seeds of peace that blossom all day. When the heart is grateful, it is content. When the heart is content, it does not chase dunya. There is also a secret power in beginning the day with Qur'an. Just a few verses recited with reflection can change the entire rhythm of your day. When you recite in the early morning, your heart absorbs the words deeply, free from distractions. It is as though Allah's words settle into your soul and guide you through the hours that follow. The one who starts with Qur'an starts with light. The one who starts with dunya starts with shadows. Do not underestimate the power of even the simplest dhikr. Subhan Allah lifts your heart by reminding you of Allah's perfection. Alhamdulillah humbles you with gratitude for His endless favors. Allahu Akbar places every worry of dunya back in its place, reminding you that Allah is greater than every problem, greater than every fear, greater than every plan you think you control. La ilaha illa Allah brings your heart back to the core of faith that there is no refuge, no safety, no love, no hope except in Him. If you find yourself waking up heavy, burdened by yesterday's worries or today's responsibilities, turn to dhikr. Whisper it even if your tongue feels dry, even if your heart feels far. Whisper it until your soul remembers its master. Whisper it until your anxieties begin to loosen. Whisper it until the remembrance of Allah feels sweeter than the pull of dunya. For every name of Allah you mention in the morning is a key that opens doors of peace you cannot imagine. And remember, dhikr is not only words, it is presence, it is awareness, it is the heart turning to Allah with sincerity. You could utter 1,000 words without presence and find no peace, or you could say one heart felt Ya Allah and feel your heart tremble with connection. The value is not in the number, but in the depth of your remembrance. Begin your day with awareness, not just repetition. This world will always try to claim your morning. Notifications will ring, deadlines will shout, people will demand your attention. But choose in those first moments to give your heart to Allah. Choose dhikr over distraction. Choose peace over panic. Choose remembrance over forgetfulness. For the one who begins with Allah does not walk alone through dunya. Angels accompany him, mercy surrounds him, and tranquility flows within him. You will notice the difference. The day that begins with dhikr flows differently. You carry patience when provoked because your heart began anchored. You find gratitude in small things because your tongue began in thanks. You face setbacks with calm because you reminded yourself that Allah is greater. And when the day ends, your soul feels lighter because you carried His remembrance from dawn until dusk. So tomorrow when you wake up, do not rush to dunya. Do not drown your heart in its noise before it has even tasted peace. Begin with Allah. Begin with His name on your lips and His greatness in your heart. Begin with dhikr, and you will discover that no matter how heavy the world becomes, your soul will remain at peace because it started the day in the presence of its Lord. The one who begins with Allah never loses. When hardship strikes, when the weight of the world presses on your chest, when confusion clouds your mind, the first impulse of many is to run to people. We call friends, we seek advice, we cry out our pain to those who are just as limited and fragile as we are. But the believer who truly knows Allah understands that the first door to knock on is not the door of creation, but the door of the Creator. Dua is not meant to be your last resort. After every attempt has failed, it is meant to be your first response, your instinct, your lifeline. For every burden feels lighter when carried to Allah, because He alone has the power to lift it completely. Think of how many times we exhaust ourselves trying to fix what we cannot fix. We chase solutions through people who have no control. We wear our hearts out by seeking comfort in places where comfort never lasts. And when nothing works, only then do we raise our hands to Allah. But imagine if instead, the very first thought, the very first reaction, was to turn to Him. Imagine the strength of a heart that whispers Ya Allah before it cries out to anyone else. That heart knows the secret of true reliance, that every solution, every cure, every ease is in His hands alone. Allah tells us in the Qur'an, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." This is not a promise from people who may or may not hear you. This is a promise from Allah, the one who never breaks His word, When you lift your hands in dua, you are not speaking into the void. You are speaking directly to the one who is closer to you than your jugular vein. The angels carry your words, your whispers, your tears, and nothing is lost. No dua is ever wasted. It is either answered immediately, stored for you in the hereafter, or used to protect you from a harm you never knew was coming. And this is why the believer never loses in dua. True strength does not lie in pretending we can carry everything ourselves. True strength lies in admitting our weakness and handing it over to the one who never fails. When you stand before Allah in dua, you are acknowledging that you are limited, but He is unlimited. You are powerless, but He is all-powerful. You are forgetful, but He never forgets. What dignity is greater than surrendering your brokenness to the one whose mercy has no end? The Prophet would turn to Allah in every matter, big or small. He taught us that dua is worship. It is not an extra practice. It is the very essence of a servant's relationship with his Lord. Whether it was in times of battle, in times of hunger, in times of grief, or even in the simplest of daily matters, He showed us that the first step is always to ask Allah. How often do we neglect this, rushing to action without first turning to the one who controls outcomes? A heart that begins with dua walks through dunya with ease because it never feels abandoned. Many of us delay dua because we fear it won't be answered. We think, I've asked before and nothing happened. But the truth is that every dua is heard and every dua has its answer. Sometimes Allah delays to grant you something better. Sometimes He withholds because what you want is not good for you. And sometimes He saves it for your akhirah, where the reward is eternal. If you knew how Allah stores your prayers, you would never wish a single dua went unanswered in this life. When you carry your pain to people, they may judge you, they may dismiss you, or they may even turn away. But when you carry your pain to Allah, He welcomes you. The Qur'an reminds us of Yunus, who was swallowed by the darkness of the whale, the darkness of the sea, and the darkness of the night. No one could hear him, no one could save him, but Allah heard his dua. There is no deity except you. Glory be to you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers. And Allah delivered him. If Allah heard Yunus from the depths of the sea, will He not hear you from the depths of your room? Do not belittle the power of dua. It changes what is written. It softens what is hard. It heals what medicine cannot heal. It reaches places where no human effort can reach. Every time you whisper, Ya Allah, the heavens respond, the angels rise, and mercy descends. Your dua may be silent to people, but it shakes the gates of the unseen. When life tests you, make dua before you complain. When opportunities come, make dua before you plan. When blessings are given, make dua before you celebrate. When calamities strike, make dua before you despair. A life anchored in dua is a life constantly connected to Allah, and the one who is connected to Allah is never truly broken, no matter what dunya takes from him. Sometimes the answer to your dua is not in the change of your circumstances, but in the change of your heart. You may remain in the same situation, but Allah fills you with patience. You may continue with the same test, but Allah strengthens your faith. You may walk the same path, but Allah places light in every step. This is why dua is not only about asking for outcomes, it is about asking for closeness, for strength, for guidance. When your first response is dua, your life transforms. Fear no longer controls you, because you know the controller of all things hears you. Stress no longer crushes you, because you know the one who carries the heavens and the earth carries you. Loneliness no longer defeats you, because you know the one. So, the next time your heart is shaken, resist the urge to rush to people first. Lift your hands before you lift your phone. Whisper, Ya Allah, before you cry to anyone else. Trust that no matter how heavy your burden feels, it is never too heavy for the one who says be, and it is. The one who makes dua his first response will never walk empty-handed. Salah is not meant to be a habit that we perform half awake, rushing through words our hearts have forgotten to feel. It is not a set of physical movements to be completed as quickly as possible, only to return to the noise of dunya as if nothing happened. Salah is your meeting with Allah. It is the moment where you leave behind the world and step into His presence. When you stand before Him, the King of Kings, the one who gave you life and the one who will take it, every bow and every prostration should carry your heart, not just your body. For a salah without presence is like a body without a soul. It looks alive from the outside, but within it is empty. When you begin your prayer with Allahu Akbar, you are declaring that Allah is greater than your worries, greater than your ambitions, greater than the dunya you left behind to pray. But how often do we utter those words without feeling them? How often do we allow dunya to follow us into salah, our minds replaying conversations, our hearts racing with deadlines, our thoughts distracted by everything but Allah? And yet the Prophet said that a person may leave his prayer having gained nothing from it except the motions. The difference between a salah that transforms and a salah that leaves you empty is presence. The Qur'an tells us, successful indeed are the believers, those who are humble in their prayer. Notice, Allah did not say those who simply perform their prayer, but those who are humble within it. That humility is not in the bending of the body, but in the bending of the heart. To pray with presence is to feel the weight of standing before your Creator. It is to let the words you recite pierce your soul, as if they were being revealed to you for the first time. It is to let your sujud be the place where your tears fall, because you know you are closest to Allah in that moment. Every salah is an opportunity for transformation. 5 times a day, Allah invites you to disconnect from dunya and reconnect with Him. If your salah is alive, your iman stays alive. If your salah is empty, your iman slowly withers. The Prophet described salah as the coolness of his eyes. It was his peace, his refuge, his strength. When hardship came, he would say, "O Bilal, give us rest with it." Notice his words, "give us rest with it," not from it. For the one who prays with presence, salah is not a burden to escape, but a sanctuary to embrace. Ask yourself, when you recite Al-Fatiha, do you realize you are speaking directly to Allah? Do you pause to feel the words, "Guide us to the straight path"? Every time you say those words, you are begging Allah to keep you firm in faith, to protect you from misguidance, to guard your heart from the traps of dunya. How different your prayer would be if you felt the urgency of those words each time you recited them. To pray with presence is not easy. It requires training the mind and disciplining the heart. Shaitan will always try to whisper and distract you, for he knows the power of a salah that is sincere. But each time you notice your thoughts drifting, gently bring them back to Allah. Do not despair because of distraction. The struggle itself is a sign that you value the prayer. The more you fight to be present, the more your heart learns to focus, and slowly, the sweetness of salah grows. Remember that in sujud, you are closest to Allah. Place your forehead on the ground and let your soul empty its burdens. Speak to Him in your own words after the prescribed glorifications. Tell Him your fears, your hopes, your sins, your gratitude. For who else is worthy of hearing your secrets but the one who already knows them all? A heart that bows sincerely in sujud rises lighter, freer, and stronger. When you finish salah with salam, reflect on what has just happened. You stood in front of Allah, you praised Him, you asked from Him, you sought His forgiveness. Do not rush out of salah as if it were a task completed, but leave it as if you are carrying a gift. Each prayer should add a layer of light to your heart, a shield to your soul, a calmness to your spirit. If you pray with presence, you will feel this transformation. Without presence, salah becomes routine. With presence, salah becomes life itself. The one who prays with his body alone will not taste the sweetness of faith. But the one who prays with his heart finds that dunya loosens its grip. Temptations lose their pull, and hardships lose their weight. Salah is not for Allah's benefit, it is for yours. He is not in need of your prayer, you are in need of Him. And every moment you spend with presence in Salah is a moment that builds your closeness to Him. So when the call to prayer comes, respond as if Allah Himself is calling you because He is. Wash away your distractions with wudu. Step onto the prayer mat with humility. Raise your hands and declare Allahu Akbar with conviction, and let your heart bow before Him fully. Pray as though your soul depends on it, because it truly does. The one who prays with presence never leaves empty-handed. One of the greatest struggles of the human heart is waiting. We live in a world that teaches us to want everything instantly, to demand results without delay, to expect answers the moment we ask. And yet, Allah, in His infinite wisdom, often places us in moments of waiting, moments of uncertainty, moments where our plans collapse so that His plan can unfold. It is in these moments that tawakkul, true trust in Allah, becomes the anchor of a believer's soul. Impatience breeds anxiety, but tawakkul brings serenity. The one who surrenders his timeline to Allah finds peace even in delay, because he knows that what Allah withholds is as merciful as what He gives. Every one of us has dreams, plans, and goals we want to achieve. Some of them are noble, some of them are personal, but all of them remind us that we are human, always striving, always desiring. But Allah reminds us in the Qur'an, and it may be that you dislike a thing while it is good for you, and it may be that you love a thing while it is bad for you. Allah knows, and you do not know. These words are a shield for the restless heart. They remind us that what appears as delay is often protection, what feels like loss is sometimes a hidden gift, and what seems like unanswered prayer is, in reality, Allah answering in a way greater than our limited vision can see. How many times in your life have you begged for something, convinced it was good, only to realize later that Allah saved you from it? How many times did a closed door protect you from harm? How many times did the very delay that frustrated you become the reason you grew, learned patience, or found something far better? When you look back, you can often see the wisdom. But tawakkul is about trusting Allah even before the wisdom is visible. It is about walking into the unknown with the certainty that Allah's plan is never random, never careless, and never cruel. We are taught that everything in creation moves by Allah's command. The rain does not fall without His permission, the seed does not sprout without His decree, the heart does not beat without His will. If Allah controls every leaf that drops from a tree, do you think He does not control the timing of your life? The delay in your marriage, the pause in your career, the unanswered dua, the long wait for healing, every one of these is under His knowledge, written with His mercy, unfolding with His wisdom. Impatience makes the heart restless. It makes us doubt. It whispers that maybe Allah has forgotten us, maybe our dua is not heard, maybe our struggles have no meaning. But the believer silences those whispers with the certainty that Allah never forgets, Allah always hears, and Allah's mercy never leaves. The Prophet told us that Allah is more merciful to His servant than a mother to her child. If that is the case, how can we believe that Allah would ever delay something except for our own good? There is a beauty in surrendering your plans. It does not mean giving up effort, for Islam teaches us to work hard, to pursue halal goals, to take every means available. But after the effort comes surrender. After you have tried, after you have planned, after you have exhausted your means, You hand the matter to Allah and accept whatever comes as His decree. This surrender is not weakness, it is the highest form of strength. Because it frees you from anxiety, it lifts the weight of control from your shoulders, and it fills your heart with peace. Think of the story of Musa and the people of Israel as they stood before the sea, with Pharaoh's army closing in behind them. To the people it seemed like the end, their plan had failed, their path was blocked, but Musa declared with certainty, "Indeed, my Lord is with me, He will guide me." And in that moment, Allah split the sea. The timing was not what they expected, but it was perfect. For Allah's plan arrives at the exact moment. It is meant to never early, never late. Your delay is not a punishment. It may be a lesson. It may be preparation. It may be a shield. Sometimes Allah delays to teach you patience, because the heart that learns sabr learns strength. Sometimes He delays to purify you, to bring you closer to Him, because the wait makes you call upon Him more sincerely. Sometimes He delays to replace what you asked for with something far better, though at the time you cannot see it. And sometimes He delays simply because His plan has a timing you do not yet understand. The Prophet taught us that if the entire world were to gather together to harm you, they could not harm you except with what Allah has already written. And if they were to gather together to benefit you, they could not benefit you except with what Allah has already decreed. This is the essence of tawakkul. It is to believe that no delay, no setback, no disappointment can strip you of what Allah has written for you, and no amount of impatience, rushing, or despair can bring to you what Allah has withheld. So the next time you find yourself asking, "Why not now? Why is this taking so long? Why does Allah not answer me?" Remind yourself that the one who delayed is the same one who loves you more than you can imagine. Remind yourself that every delay carries within it a hidden gift, even if you do not yet see it. Remind yourself that your story is written by the one who knows the ending before it begins, and His timing is flawless. Patience in waiting does not mean you feel no pain. It does not mean you do not long or cry or hope. It means you endure with trust. It means that even through tears you say, "Ya Allah, I know you are with me." It means that even when your heart aches, you refuse to lose hope in His mercy. It means that even when the path seems long, you believe every step is leading you closer to what is written for you. The believer who trusts Allah's timing lives with serenity. While others are consumed by anxiety, he rests in certainty. While others are crushed by impatience, he breathes in peace, for he knows that what Allah withholds is as merciful as what He gives, and the delay itself may be the very answer to his dua. The one who trusts Allah's timing will never be disappointed. Gratitude is not something reserved only for moments of ease, nor is it confined to times when everything goes according to our desires. True shukr is a constant state of the heart, one that acknowledges the mercy of Allah in both ease and difficulty. When a believer learns to thank Allah not only for the blessings that are obvious but also for those that are hidden, their entire outlook on life transforms. The Qur'an reminds us, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you in favor, but if you deny, indeed, my punishment is severe." This is not simply about material increase. It is about increase in faith, in peace, in clarity, in contentment, and in strength to withstand the challenges of life. Gratitude turns scarcity into abundance because it shifts our focus away from what is missing toward what has already been given. It turns trials into growth because it allows us to see every difficulty as an opportunity to draw nearer to Allah. Think of the blessings you live with daily but rarely acknowledge. The ability to breathe without effort, the fact that your heart beats without you commanding it, the simple act of waking up in the morning when so many others did not. Each of these is a gift that no wealth in the world could purchase. Gratitude opens the heart to recognize these subtle mercies, and it softens the soul to bow in humility to the one who grants them. A person who lives with gratitude does not drown in complaints, nor do they constantly chase after what they don't have. Instead, they find serenity in knowing that Allah has already given them exactly what they need for this moment in their journey. In seasons of ease, gratitude protects us from arrogance. When wealth, health, and happiness are abundant, the heart can become deceived into thinking these are the result of our own efforts, forgetting that they are purely from Allah's mercy. Gratitude anchors us, reminding us that nothing belongs to us and that any blessing can be taken in an instant. In seasons of hardship, gratitude shields us from despair. When everything seems to be crumbling, when loss feels unbearable, the heart that has been trained to practice shukr will still find reasons to thank Allah. It will see in the trial a purification, a means of elevation, and a path toward forgiveness. Gratitude is not a denial of pain, nor is it a mask for sadness. The prophets themselves experienced immense trials, yet their tongues remained moist with thanks to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, despite facing the loss of his children, the rejection of his people, and countless hardships, would stand in prayer until his feet swelled, thanking Allah even when life was full of tests. When asked why he pushed himself so much despite his guaranteed status with Allah, he replied, "Should I not be a grateful servant?" This is the essence of true gratitude. It is not dependent on circumstance. It is a constant acknowledgement of Allah's mercy regardless of what is unfolding in life. When the believer practices gratitude, even small blessings become mountains of joy. A glass of clean water becomes a treasure. A kind word from someone becomes a gift. A moment of health after illness becomes a sign of Allah's mercy. Gratitude multiplies blessings not only in number but in depth. The one who thanks Allah for a simple meal tastes more sweetness than the one who consumes a feast without shukr. The one who thanks Allah for a small home sleeps more peacefully than the one who lives in a palace but remains ungrateful. Gratitude also changes relationships. A grateful heart does not take people for granted. It appreciates parents, spouses, children, neighbors, and friends as blessings from Allah. It sees kindness as a gift, and even the presence of loved ones as a mercy that could be withdrawn at any moment. This perspective softens interactions, removes entitlement, and creates harmony because it views every human connection as something entrusted by Allah. Gratitude also deepens worship. A believer who prays out of gratitude prays with presence, with humility, and with love. Their dua is filled not only with requests but also with thanks, because they recognize that every answered prayer in the past was already a manifestation of Allah's mercy. Their heart bows not only in need but also in appreciation. Gratitude fuels patience, for when the heart is thankful, it can endure difficulty with hope, knowing that Allah never withholds except out of wisdom. There is a hidden beauty in gratitude that many overlook. It pulls us away from the endless cycle of comparison. Much anxiety today comes from comparing our lives to others, their wealth, their beauty, their success. Gratitude breaks this cycle by training us to look within, to count our own blessings, and to understand that what Allah has chosen for us is perfectly tailored to our path. What someone else has is not meant for us, and what we have is not meant for them. Gratitude removes jealousy and envy because it makes us content with the decree of Allah. When the Qur'an promises increase for the grateful, it is a reminder that gratitude attracts more mercy. A heart that thanks Allah sincerely becomes deserving of more, while a heart that complains constantly risks being deprived of what it already has. Gratitude opens the doors of barakah, blessings that cannot be measured only by material means, but by the tranquility of the soul, the peace of the home, and the ease that Allah places in one's affairs. Gratitude is not only expressed by the tongue, but by the way we use the blessings Allah has given us. To thank Allah for wealth is to spend it in good. To thank Allah for health is to use it in obedience. To thank Allah for time is to fill it with acts that please Him. To thank Allah for knowledge is to share it with others. Gratitude is action as much as it is feeling. When gratitude becomes the lens through which we see life, every season becomes bearable. The harshness of winter teaches patience. The beauty of spring inspires hope. The heat of summer trains endurance, and the coolness of autumn reminds us of change and renewal. Every stage of life, from youth to old age, holds blessings if only the heart is willing to see. Gratitude is the key that unlocks these treasures. And so, gratitude is not a small act, it is a way of living. It is the constant recognition that everything we are, everything we have, and everything we experience comes from Allah. When we practice gratitude in every season, we do not just survive life, we thrive within it, because our hearts are aligned with the mercy of the one who gives and takes with wisdom. The one who thanks Allah in every circumstance will never be left empty, for Allah has promised increase to those who are grateful. The Qur'an is not just ink on paper. It is not simply a collection of words recited without thought. It is the speech of Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, revealed as guidance, mercy, and light for every heart that seeks Him. To surround yourself with the Qur'an is to surround yourself with the very rope that connects you to your Lord. Each verse carries wisdom beyond measure. Each chapter is a treasure waiting to be unlocked. And even a single ayah has the power to shift your outlook entirely. When you make the Qur'an part of your daily life, you are not merely reading. You are allowing your soul to be fed with divine nourishment. Just as the body weakens without food, the soul weakens without the Qur'an. And when the soul weakens, anxiety, restlessness, and emptiness creep in. But when you allow the words of Allah to enter your heart, you find clarity, serenity, and strength that cannot be shaken by dunya. Imagine waking up each morning and letting the very first words you hear be from the Qur'an. Even if it is just a short verse, that verse will shape the lens through which you see your day. The Qur'an is a mirror. It reflects to you the reality of life and your own heart. When you read about patience, you will recognize where you have been rushing. When you read about gratitude, you will see the blessings you overlooked. When you read about forgiveness, you will soften your heart towards others. That is the power of Allah's words. It is not how much you read that matters, but how much you let it transform you. The Prophet said, "The best of you are those who learn the Qur'an and teach it." Notice that the emphasis is not only on reading, but on living and sharing. When you carry the Qur'an in your heart, your speech becomes gentler, your decisions become wiser, and your soul becomes lighter. The Qur'an teaches you not only how to worship, but also how to walk among people with humility, mercy, and justice. It becomes your silent companion in moments of loneliness, your comfort in times of sadness, and your reminder in moments of pride. There are times in life when we feel as though we are drowning in problems, suffocated by uncertainty, or lost in confusion. And then you open the Qur'an and find verses like, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." Or indeed, with hardship comes ease. Suddenly, the storm within you calms down, not because your situation has changed, but because your heart has been reminded of the truth. The Qur'an heals wounds that no one else can see. It gives strength that no words of men can provide. To surround yourself with Qur'an daily does not mean you must memorize entire chapters overnight. It begins with consistency. Even one verse a day, reflected upon deeply, can reshape your entire outlook. The Qur'an is not in a rush to leave you. It is waiting for you to come back to it again and again. The more you return, the more it opens its treasures to you. The more you ignore, the more you feel the emptiness in your heart. Think of it as a lamp in a dark room. Even a small flame pushes away the shadows. Likewise, even a small recitation pushes away despair and hopelessness. There are those who recite the Qur'an without letting it touch their hearts, and then there are those who recite one verse and live by it. The difference is in presence. When you approach the Qur'an with humility, knowing these are the words of your Lord, every letter becomes heavier than gold. Every pause becomes a moment of reflection. Every verse becomes a conversation between you and Allah, and this is what anchors the heart. Without Qur'an, the heart drifts. With Qur'an, the heart stands firm, no matter the winds of life. We live in a time where distractions are endless. Our phones, our work, our worries, they all compete for our attention, but the Qur'an waits patiently. It is not like dunya, which demands and exhausts you. It is like rain on dry land, until life, giving and pure. If you give it just a little space, it revives your heart, and the more you give, the more it transforms you. There is no substitute for it. No book, no lecture, no song can replace the words of Allah. Surrounding yourself with Qur'an daily is not optional if you want peace. It is essential. Even in moments when you feel too tired, too distracted, too unworthy, open it. Even if you think you cannot understand, open it. Allah will place light in your heart in ways you cannot comprehend. Sometimes it is not about understanding every detail. Sometimes it is about humbling yourself to listen, to recite, to surrender. Allah's mercy descends on the one who seeks Him, and there is no faster path to His mercy than holding tightly to His words. The more you thank Allah, the more He gives you. The more you turn to Him, the more He embraces you. The Qur'an is your greatest means of turning to Him. Do not let a day pass without it. Even if the world is falling apart, even if your heart feels heavy, let the Qur'an be your anchor. And you will see that what once felt unbearable becomes bearable. What once felt empty becomes full, and what once felt lost becomes guided. Close your day with it, and you will sleep in peace. Begin your day with it, and you will walk with strength. Let it live in your heart, and you will never be alone again. The Qur'an is not just to be read, it is to be lived. And when you surround yourself with it, you surround yourself with the mercy of Allah Himself. So let every day be touched by it, and let every night be softened by it. Because without Qur'an, the soul is empty, but with it, the soul is alive. May Allah fill your heart with peace, grant you strength in trials, and surround you with His mercy. Until we meet again, stay steadfast, stay hopeful, and always remember Allah never forgets you.